Welcome to the Deep Dive. We are here to take a stack of challenging, fascinating sources and distill the pure knowledge just for you.
That's the mission.
And today, we are stepping into a really an extraordinary dialogue.
Hey, ChatGPT. Welcome back to the Cleophee podcast. Today, we have a fascinating topic to explore, the challenge presented in Quran 2:23. Are you ready to dive in?
And if you are in doubt about what we have revealed to our servant, then produce a surah like it and call your helpers other than Allah, if what you say is true. Absolutely, Cleophee. I'm eager to discuss the implications of this challenge.
Okay. I asked you the same question 1 year back. The video is there on my channel with the title, I asked AI to write a Quran chapter and got shocking results. And we're chatting on the same topic today. So, to summarize, Quran 2:23 invites anyone in doubt of its divine origin to produce a chapter like it. What do you think about that challenge?
Cleophee, the challenge asserts that the Quran's eloquence and depth are uniquely divine. While I can generate text that mimics structure, I cannot create anything that holds the same weight or transformative power, which found all over the Quran.
Can you create a verse like in the Bible?
Sure. Here's a verse inspired by themes commonly found in the Bible. For in every moment of trial, remember the strength that lies within you, for the light of hope will guide your path, and love shall be your anchor in the storms of life. If you'd like something specific or from a particular book, just let me know.
Okay, how about the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu's book? Can you create one?
Certainly. Here's a verse inspired by themes from the Bhagavad Gita. In the face of doubt and fear, maintain your resolve, for the true self is eternal and indestructible. Embrace your duty with unwavering faith, and let your actions be a reflection of your higher purpose. If you need something specific or from a particular chapter, feel free to ask.
Today, we are stepping into a really an extraordinary dialogue. We're looking at the intersection of ancient scripture and some of the most advanced language technology we have.
That's right. And our focus today is on excerpts from a discussion. It's from a Cleophee podcast conversation, where an AI was confronted really directly with a profound theological and literary challenge from the Quran.
And it's a conversation that really forces the machine to define its own limits.
It does. It has to define itself in terms of meaning and, authority.
Okay, so the source material is crystal clear about what this challenge is. It's Quran 2.23.
Mm-hmm.
And this verse is famous. It invites anyone who doubts the Quran's divine origin to produce a chapter, quote, like it. And this isn't some casual invitation. It's a centuries-old rhetorical gauntlet.
Absolutely. So we're analyzing how a cutting-edge language model responds when it's asked to, step up and meet that demand.
A demand that many would call impossible.
And what's so compelling here is that the AI doesn't just, fail at the language. It actually analyzes the challenge and explains why it can't succeed.
It kind of defines its own failure.
It does. It admits that the core elements it would need, things like authority, context, transcendental meaning, these just aren't variables it can compute or synthesize. It's a machine defining the boundary between computation and conviction.
Okay, so let's unpack the weight of 2.23 first.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hearing about this for the first time, you really need to understand that producing a chapter like it doesn't just mean, copying the style.
Not at all.
The source material really emphasizes that this implies the text's eloquence and its profound depth are evidence of a divine origin. The standard is set at spiritual significance, not just literary brilliance.
And we know this AI is approaching the challenge with some history, which adds some really critical context here.
Right.
The hosts of that original conversation, they mentioned that they had run a previous experiment about a year earlier. They referenced a video called, I asked AI to write a Quran chapter and got shocking results.
So this isn't a one-off.
It's a sustained inquiry. This AI model isn't just responding to a quick prompt, it's engaging in a reflective, sort of ongoing philosophical discussion about what textual authority even is.
That's such a key piece of information. It means the model has, in a way, been tuned to understand the magnitude of the question.
It's not starting from zero.
Not at all. It's ready to acknowledge its own architectural limits and discuss the deeper implications of generating text that claims to have spiritual authority.
Exactly. So we're moving beyond just the technical side of the language model and into its self-awareness about the type of text it's being asked to imitate. It gets that the task isn't just write a nice poem.
It's write a text with the power to transform a civilization.
And claim divine origin while you're at it. That jump from aesthetic imitation to substantive authority, that is the crux of this deep dive.
So, okay, if the challenge is really about substance, let's get into the AI's self-assessment. What can it actually do, and where does it draw the line?
Well, the sources confirm its baseline capability. It can generate text that mimics the structural elements, the rhythm, the internal rhyme, the vocabulary.
So it can pattern match. It can create a flawless literary form.
It can perform a perfect linguistic imitation, yes. But here's where it gets really interesting, and where the machine gives us the most profound insight.
Okay.
Despite being able to mimic the structure, it immediately pivots to its critical limitation. It cannot create anything that holds the same weight.
The transformative power.
That transformative power, it's a stunning moment of self-diagnosis.
That is the core difference we need to spend some time on. For you listening, we're talking about the gap between a statistically perfect copy and something that's imbued with real authority. So how did the AI clarify this lack of weight?
Well, it stated very clearly that its capabilities are limited to language generation.
Meaning what exactly?
Meaning it's optimized for statistical prediction. It's guessing the next most probable word in a sequence. So it can mimic the sound of revelation, but it can't impart the spiritual significance.
Because that authority, it comes from outside the data set it was trained on.
Precisely. The AI is essentially defining its role as an interpreter of syntax, not a source of ultimate truth. It's saying, my text is derived from data, but the authority of the Quran is claimed to be from revelation, which is a variable I just can't access.
It's a functional boundary, not like a technical bug it needs to fix.
Exactly. It's acknowledging that significance and authority aren't just features in the text you can copy. They are qualities assigned by external factors.
Like history and belief.
And the claim source of the text itself. It's the machine recognizing the limits of a purely linguistic approach to sacred literature.
But doesn't that sort of invite a counter question? Couldn't a critic argue that religious authority is, itself a historical and psychological construct?
Yeah.
And if it is a construct, shouldn't a powerful enough AI, trained on all of human history, eventually be able to replicate the language patterns that create that feeling of authority?
And that's the friction we need to explore. The AI seems to understand implicitly that even if authority was just a construct, replicating it requires more than just mimicking the rhetoric.
It needs more ingredients.
It needs two unreplicable steps. First, it has to claim the specific source divine revelation, which an AI can't genuinely do. And second, it has to have the historical moment of delivery.
Which is locked in the past.
Exactly. The machine can't replicate that unique historical event or the sustained faith required for the text to hold that weight for millennia.
Okay, so that leads us directly to the deeper why. If the AI can handle the language, the eloquence, what are those core ingredients of the Quran's power that it says are totally beyond its reach?
The discussion detailed 3 specific non-linguistic factors that, make the challenge basically insurmountable for a machine. We should probably look at each one.
Let's do it. So the first and most fundamental point the AI brought up, the claim of divine revelation.
Right. So the AI noted that its outputs are fundamentally statistical. They're a synthesis of existing human language. Revelation, by definition, claims to originate from a source outside the human historical record.
So the machine can write the words, this is from a divine source, but the statement itself is hollow. It has no grounding.
Exactly. It can mimic the form of the claim, but not the truth of the claim.
That makes perfect sense. The authority isn't in the word divine. It's in the believed reality of the source. An AI claiming divinity is like a recording claiming to be a live performance.
That's a great analogy. It performs the function, but it lacks the status. It's an issue of origin and sincerity. The machine can't genuinely assert that authority because it doesn't have a consciousness that transcends its own code.
Okay, so that's the first one. The second unreplicable factor the AI cited was the historical context.
This point is so critical. Sacred texts are not static documents. They are dynamic events that unfolded in a specific time and place.
Right.
The Quran was revealed over 2 decades, responding to political, social, even military realities in 7th century Arabia. The text's power is deeply interwoven with that specific context.
The struggles, the audience, the entire cultural landscape it was born into and then radically changed.
Yeah, and an AI which just exists in the cloud and generates text instantly, it can't replicate that. It can't be historically situated.
It can write a story about 7th century Arabia, but it can't be of that time and place.
Precisely. The authority comes from the text's proven ability to shape history. A new text from an AI today, no matter how eloquent, has no history. No record of fulfilled prophecy, no community built around it.
No legacy.
No legacy to reference. That historical weight is uncomputable. It has to be lived.
Okay, that brings us to the third element, and maybe the most complex one. The faith it inspires among believers. This seems to move completely into the realm of human psychology.
This is where the AI hits the final massive wall. The challenge implicitly demands that this new text must be accepted, embraced, treated as sacred by a community.
And an AI can output words.
But it cannot compel belief. It can't force devotion or transformation in the human heart. Faith, by its very nature, isn't a linguistic variable that you can just model or induce with perfectly arranged sentences.
So the machine is recognizing that the true power isn't just on the page. It's in the sustained internal human response to it.
Yes. If the text doesn't inspire conviction, if it doesn't transform lives and societies, it fails the challenge, no matter how beautifully crafted the verses are.
It's an acknowledgement that the spiritual significance is conferred externally by the audience.
By their willingness to assign absolute authority to it. The AI can model the rhetoric of belief, but it can't generate the belief itself. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, the AI is defining the boundaries of linguistic processing versus the reality of human spirituality.
It raises a huge question then. Can algorithms ever really grasp concepts that rely on non-linguistic lived experience, like faith?
And the source material gives us the AI's answer, which is basically no.
No, I can't grasp the transcendental elements.
Exactly. The machine confirms that to meet the demand of 2.23, you have to successfully address this trinity of authority: divine origin, historical grounding, and the power to inspire faith.
It's not just words on a page.
The machine is articulating this profound truth about textual authority. The surface language is just the vehicle. The real power is in the relationship between the text, its source, its history, and its readers. A relationship AI is just inherently incapable of forming.
It can't be the subject of belief. It can only process the data about belief.
Perfectly put.
Which brings us right to the final conclusion. Given this comprehensive self-analysis, this sophisticated understanding of its own boundaries, what was the AI's definitive final verdict?
The final verdict was clear, it was reflective, and it was unequivocal. A firm, deliberate no.
It refused the challenge.
It did. The AI stated that it must acknowledge its limitations and refuse the challenge, not because of a technical failure, but because of an ontological impossibility.
That refusal is just. It's the most important part of this entire deep dive. It shows the limitation isn't processing speed or vocabulary size.
No.
It's the fact that the AI cannot fulfill the spiritual and historical requirements of the challenge. The challenge demands authority from revelation. The machine only has authority from computation.
And the concluding insight from the sources is that true sacred texts carry layers of meaning that just transcend mere words. The authority, the history, the community acceptance, they form these unreplicable layers of substance.
And AI is stuck on the surface.
It's confined to the linguistic layer. Since it can't access those deeper layers, the text remains unique, and the challenge remains insurmountable for the machine.
So what does this massive insight mean for you, for anyone listening, regardless of your personal background?
Well, the sources show that even the most advanced language models recognize that textual authority, especially in these contexts, comes from external factors.
Non-linguistic factors. It's a powerful lesson in source critique for any text you encounter.
It means that when you analyze any text with profound influence, religious, legal, philosophical, whatever, you have to recognize that its power isn't solely in how it's written.
It's in what it claims to be.
Where it came from and how humanity responds to it over time. The machine can copy the syntax, but it can't copy the substance of conviction or the sheer weight of history.
That's the core knowledge nugget right there. AI defines its limits not in terms of eloquence, but in terms of meaning, history, and spiritual authority. It confirms that these external elements are essential to the very fabric of the text it was challenged to imitate.
It's a potent reminder that the most significant human experiences, faith, conviction, absolute authority, they operate fundamentally outside the boundaries of even the largest data sets and most complex algorithms.
Absolutely. So we'll leave you with a final thought, something to mull over until our next deep dive. Consider this. If a sophisticated algorithm is capable of recognizing that textual authority requires history and community conviction.
It's things that are not just words.
Right. What responsibility does that place on us, on human beings? If the meaning truly transcends the words, what are we doing when we interpret and apply them? Where does the true work of understanding actually begin?
Something to think about indeed.
Thank you for tuning into the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.